So you can see right here the growth mindset and the fixed mindset. Third strategy on here. I'm Nicole Greer. I'm here to talk about vibrant change management. Third strategy on here is leadership presence. Leadership presence. One time, Amy Wortham called me up and she said, I'd like you to teach this class on leadership presence. And I said, well, I would love to do that. But then I was sitting quietly and I thought, uh-oh, do I have that? Because should you have it before you teach it? Say yes. Okay, because here's the thing. The person at the front of the room needs to have this really cool thing called credibility. Everybody write it down, write it down, write it down, credibility. So I thought, oh, let me do this. Let me take a good look in the mirror. Not like how I looked in the mirror a minute ago, but like look in the mirror. Okay, now everybody write down this question. Write it down. This is a question you ask. Instead of like looking in the mirror and worried about what this looks like, look in the mirror and ask yourself this question. Ready? What is it like to experience me? Oh, that's what happens every time I ask that question to a crowd. How many of y'all have somebody in your company that you really wish would ask this to themselves? Say yes, that's me. Okay, so, what is it like to experience me? This is a very, very huge question. And the thing is when we go out to do a change, buddy, you better be some kind of change agent. You better be somebody who doesn't complain about the change. I will never understand leaders apologizing for the change. We're gonna get new software, and I'm sorry, but the company we're using now will not update our system anymore after 2025, so we're gonna have to change. And it's gonna be a long process, and it's gonna be really hard. Everybody ready? These are the kind of messages that people are putting out there, and the answer is no, that's right. So we have to be the kind of person that can tell, again, that story of where we're going. If we change this software, you know where we're gonna go? We're gonna go to this amazing, amazing place where we get stuff done and we move faster. I had the privilege and the honor of working on a project where we were gonna change the software. We told the folks who were gagging, we said, you're gonna go from logging in and out of 5 different systems to logging into one system, where you will normally be on the phone with somebody for 20 to 25 minutes. It's quite possible you could get off the phone in 7 minutes. Did they want to do that software change? Did they want to gag? Say yes. That was the vision. Imagine yourself on and off the phone in 7 minutes, not having to verify a name and a social security over here, and figure out where their house is over there, and figure out this over there. 20 to 7. Plus, are people irritated if they're on the phone for 20 minutes? Yes. Are they happy if they're on and off in 7? Look at all the joy in the world from just changing software. So leadership presence is so important. And there are 3 things on here. You've got to have gravitas. Now, when I was given that assignment to teach leadership presence, I thought, I need a dictionary. So here's what gravitas means. It encompasses behaviors such as exhibiting grace under pressure, acting decisively, showing integrity, and projecting and protecting the vision, and demonstrating emotional intelligence. Whoa. This gravitas is a big deal. We don't have time for that, but look it up, study it. Number 2, you have to be a great communicator. And that's why I gave you the list of the 7 stories that you must, and you swore, I saw all of you raise your hand, that you would figure out. And number 3, you've got to look like a professional. Big part of leadership presence is a first impression. So if you stand up and tell me we're going to change, the way I look makes an impression in how many seconds? They say less than 7. Why do you think I wore these today? All right, turn the page, all right? So on the next page are going to be our systems for change, our systems for change. So the first one is accountability. Now, when I was coming up, my first thing I did was restaurant work, and the second thing I did was property management work, and then I started my company. But when I was in property management, I had a lady named Nancy Freeman, who is my leader. And what it was like to experience her was magical. She taught me something every time I saw her, and unlike other regional directors via the grapevine, she came to my property at least once a week to inspect what she expected. She told me one time, Nicole, you are cleaning up after everybody. Anybody here do this thing at work called cleaning up after people? Anybody clean up? You say, could you do this for me? And then they don't, and then you do it yourself. How many of y'all do this? Anybody got that habit? So here is our accountability formula that she taught me. Everybody say, thank you, Nancy. Okay, here we go. First thing is, what are you going to do? So if I ask you to do something, she'll say, okay. But you don't walk away because we don't have accountability yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say, well, tell me what you're going to do. And she says, well, I'm going to do this, then this, then this. And I say, oh, hold on. I want you to do this, then this, then this, then call him and then do that because here's why. And she goes, oh, okay. Now see, she could go off and do something I don't like, and then who will I be upset with? But it's not her fault, it's my fault, because I don't know what she's about to go do. So make sure you ask, what are you going to do? Then I say to her, when are you going to do it? And she says, oh, I'll get around to it. Do I know when she's going to do it? No. I said, well, let's get it on the calendar. She says, Friday at 5. I say, great. And then I say, how will I know it's done? She's like, Nicole, don't worry about it. I say, oh, but I do. I worry. You got to tell me. How will I know it's done? She says, I'll email you. Now you have full accountability. Here's the thing. If she gets it done, should I say something to her? Yes. Yes, it's called reinforcement. So she gets it. I said, you know what we did? We talked about what to get done. You're very hardworking. You're very much a problem solver. We decided on a date and you delivered. You're amazing. And I'm so glad you're on my team. Now, if she doesn't get it done, do I call her? Say yes. I have found you only got to call people one time, and then, buddy, they pick up the pace. All right, moving on. The next thing we have in here is performance management, which talks about giving people feedback. And feedback is super huge. And when you give feedback, you have to be very specific. So during the change process, you got to tell people what they're doing right, and you got to tell them where they need correction. And so the first thing you do is you develop circumstances, and you say, I watched you doing your work, here's exactly what I saw. And then you're going to put together some conduct that you saw. So let's say I give her a C3 as well, and so I say, when you were working on the project for me, I saw you asking for help, I saw you contributing ideas. Okay, so those are the conducts. What's the conduct? I saw you asking for help and contributing ideas. Now, do you want all of your people contributing and asking for help and working as a team? Yes. And so then you say the consequences, which is, and consequently, I am so glad you're on my team. That is a C3. So in your materials, because like most of you, I love to give out tools, I have given you a list of core values. So your homework assignment is to develop your personal core values. I don't know about you, but sometimes I grow weary in my training. Sometimes I get an audience that looks like this. Y'all ever get these people? And you know, I'll stand on my head and be cute and darling and then get serious and do all sorts of shenanigans. And they're still like this. This is mandatory. You know, figure out why you're doing what you're doing so you can keep the agreement with yourself. I'm a teacher and I teach because of these values. So that's in your materials. There are 7 stories in your materials that you need to get written down. Get with your CEO to the front line and get those 7 stories. Build your story library. I want you to embrace learning curves, work it into your HR program, and I want you to have a program on business acumen. The reason why people don't go through change well is they don't know how business works. Are we in the business of making a profit? Yes or no? People don't know how a business makes a profit. There's income, there's expenses, there's net operating income, there is capital improvement, and there's cash flow. People need to understand that. And you need to master your energies. Also in your materials is an energy audit. Each one of you has 6 energies. When we are going through change management, people have to work on their 6 energies: intellectual, emotional, spiritual, physical, social, and financial. And then finally, the last thing I'm gonna tell you about is something very, very smart that I learned. And I learned this from a woman named Lori Beth Jones. When you're taking people through a process, put a piece of paper in front of them. On one side it says, what do we need more of around here? And on the back side, put what do we need less of around here? Then have them contribute to the process and then go from there to get your change management in place. Have your people speak into the process. Here's my challenge to you is to take this back. I probably have extras back there. Sit with your team and go through the ERP, talk about learning curves, and then tell them this. This is not our practice life. Today is the tomorrow you had yesterday. My name is Nicole Greer, and I would love to work with you, and it's been my distinct pleasure to eat salmon and go to all sorts of workshops and drink lots of coffee with you today. Thank you.